WTF, we're doing a podcast. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Michelle. This is 50. Welcome to What the 50. Join us on our continued journey to simplify our lives.
We will seek the answers from the experts and offer tips, tools, and techniques to live your life with confidence and joy. Are we ready?
Let's go.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Nikki.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, a little bit. You know, it's that time of year
That
where
time of year.
everything is happening all at once.
I know. And no matter how we try to be super organized, things just happen.
Of
you know.
course.
But the good thing is we have a little bit more time before Christmas. We have what, 2 weeks?
Yes.
A little bit more time. So we'll get it done.
And did you see the rainbow yesterday, by the way?
Did you see the double rainbow?
No. Was it yesterday or the day
The
before?
day before, there's a double rainbow.
Wow.
Yes.
And all I could think of was, my sister said, "Oh, look, the pot of gold
Right.
over our street." And I thought, you know what? We see so many rainbows in Jamaica that definitely Jamaica is a pot of gold.
Yes, blessed.
The
Yes.
gold might not be in riches, but we have gold in so many other things.
A lot to be thankful for. In fact, when I saw the rain was driving up to school, and I just had this whole feeling, just because it was literally in front of me the entire time I was driving. And it gave me such a fantastic feeling. When I picked up Zach, he actually started to record. So we're driving and he's recording the rainbow. And it was so bright.
It was
It was
intense.
so intense.
Trevor
yes.
called it intense.
The colors were intense for sure.
That brings me to another thing, is that today we're talking about personal growth.
Yes.
And one of them that's a little bit towards the end of our topic, supposedly, was cultural and social awareness, how we should grow
Right.
in that area. And because of that rainbow, and when we were talking about the pot of gold and how blessed we are,
Right.
I just wanted to bring up the point a little bit that you and I have talked about what's going on in the world. The whole thing over, the Gaza, Israel type issue. And how lucky we are how blessed we are that we may have our problems here, but there are no problems nowhere like what's going on
Absolutely
there.
not. And the thing is, although we can't do anything about it from here, certainly having conversations will make us feel that we're in solidarity with them. I can't imagine what they get up to on a daily basis, you know. And I think too that just being in Jamaica, there's so many times things will happen and we say, boy, this is a God bless country.
Yes.
It really is.
It really is.
Really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
Besides all the bad stuff that happens that many people always want to
Highlight. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's so much good.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And it's a great way to just, look at it, because if we don't do that, we won't express the gratitude
Of course.
that we really need to. So in terms of our topic today, self-growth, I think, as we mentioned, gratitude, I think that's one of the most important parts of our self-growth, because looking at the little things and being grateful for the little things, mentioning the little things, then that's how we really recognize how much we have to be thankful for.
Yeah, and we are. And the thing is that this is my whole gratitude journey started a long time ago when someone on my Facebook timeline had repeated this or posted this, and it says like, I'm grateful because of all the laundry I have. I might have like tons of laundry, but that means I have clothes to wear, right?
It's all about perspective.
I'm grateful that I have dishes to wash, because that means I had food to eat.
Yes, and dishes means probably more than one person at the table with you. For me, I've always been grateful, right? Because I grew up with that. But I really became super mindful during COVID for various reasons. But I actually started to document little things in my phone. I'm driving go to the supermarket, and there's a parking space that I am just right there.
Right.
I don't have to be driving around, but just that little thing would have changed my entire morning. Meaning, if I didn't find the space, I have to park far, walk far, blah, 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 rain is falling, so on. So there's so many little things that can happen that we probably don't even realize until we document it, And then we look back at it and like, oh my gosh, look at all of these little things that have happened in a day or a week or a month. And it just changes, you know?
I did this, I don't know if I was even friends with you then. I did a gratitude thing on Facebook.
Oh, really? No.
I did it, 3 things to be grateful for every day. And I posted it on Facebook every day. And honestly, that really, I think that it was probably around 10 or 12 years now. I think that completely has changed my life because you, as you say, you know, it's the little things that we're grateful.
And you don't realize it until you consciously document it. And I've spoken to the boys about it, and I'll be very, very verbal too, because I will say out to them, oh my gosh, I'm so happy that this happened. This has really changed. You know, for example, I give you something really, really quick. The other day, I was picking up Zach at his friend's house who lives in River Ridge, and you know, the Halloween party.
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh, Zach, really today when they're going to have the party, I have to pick you up? When I got there, my car, I drove straight in. And when I got Zach, I was driving up, there were like 50 cars. So had I waited 2 seconds more, I would have been in that traffic to get in. And I said to him, thank God that, you know, you told me to, because I was angry at first, right? I was annoyed, not angry. But I said, thank God you told me to come for you when you did, because look, had I come 5 minutes later, I'd have been stuck. So right away, I had to turn that annoyance into gratitude. And I had to tell him, I said, gosh, I was really annoyed with you, but hey, look at this, you know? So
that happened to me too. I don't know. I'm sure I've told you the story with my 2 boys. Max was a sleeper. He would sleep anywhere, take him out for dinner, slept anywhere. Easy peasy. Kaylin, on the other hand. And I remember once in the middle of the night, I'm walking around and this child just wouldn't sleep. And I had to say to myself, you know what? There are so many parents that wish they had a child and wish that their child was crying and being so active. So I just had to embrace it and, you know.
And, you know, you know, too, that crying and thing is not going to last forever. But in that moment,
I know.
feels like it's, oh my gosh, is it going to end? But
and another thing to that too is that I want us to try, and I think you and I don't do that, but we always talk about, especially women can get together and commiserate. You know, it's like, oh, my husband is this. So all of a sudden you're finding something about your husband just because that's we're almost bonding over negativity.
No, and I can't manage it. I can't manage it. It's not.
Or like that woman over there, you know, and it's like.
Females, I think people in general sometimes tend to highlight the negative things. And I really think that I don't like to do it. I try not to do it. Sometimes I can get caught in it.
Of course, we all do.
But I try not to get caught up with that, because again, there's just so much to be grateful for, you know. So much.
So and then that's, I think, great personal growth for us, because I know myself in the past, I was like, I just get drawn into that, you know, it's like, so.
But you know what? Again, I don't necessarily want to bring up COVID, because I just want to be in the background. But COVID was positive for our family in a lot of ways.
Same for ours
and certainly for me, I became more, I decided to become more mindful about my own personal growth. And I think that was preparing me for these years now where JP has gone off to school. Zacho is 1 foot out the door. I don't have the children depending on me as much anymore. So that, I think that journey for me started then, because I got quiet, you know. So the journey for me started that time, and I started to look at what are the things I need to do to develop myself, because I've spent so many years on the boys, on Chris, mom, everybody else.
Of course.
No, it was my turn. So I looked at my sleep. I looked at what I was eating. I looked at exercise, not even realizing that those were the components of self-growth. You know? So
for me, it was similar for me in the same time. As you know, I started on the coaching journey at that time. I started trying to just relish the simple things, and start doing things that made me happy. This is not our conversation, but we'll talk about celebrations next time. But you know, doing things that because I think both of us consciously decided around the same time that, you know what, we don't have to wait for anybody else. We are the authors of our own life, right?
Quite so, and I'm happy you said that, because for a long time, I think I just wasn't writing my story. For a long time, I was just so busy doing everything else for everyone else. And then I recognized that, and with our conversations, which have really been an integral part of being intentional about our self-growth, as you said, we just have to write our own stories.
Of course.
Take the time to write our own stories.
And we still have a big story to write.
We have a lot to write.
And that's why we started this podcast, right? Because we're not, what they say, not old and cold.
Certainly not old and cold. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Definitely. But even our podcast, I mean, we have said it a few times. We talked about it so many times, and then we just did it.
Yes. Yeah.
It wasn't perfect, still isn't perfect. We're still working on it, but we just did it. And I think it has been a huge part of our self-growth,
And we just want, I think one of our main goals of this is to let people understand that post children, or once your children are big and grown, there's still a big life.
Can I tell you, I spoke with a friend of mine last week. She's in her early 70s. And she said to me, Michelle, I'm having the time of my life.
Oh,
it's
that's
a
amazing.
whole new realm that she's in. But she says, I'm having the time of my life. She's gorgeous. She exercises every day. And when I'm talking about gorgeous, I'm not talking about her physical features. I'm just talking about the energy that she exudes. Is just amazing. You can see how happy she is. And I mean, I just want to get there too.
Yes, and we will. I think we will. We're on the way. But it's as you say, what's the big word? It's being intentional and setting some goals for ourselves.
Realistic goals.
Yeah, realistic.
And we have to remember too that those goals may not necessarily be achieved when we want it to, because life happens, right?
Of course.
But we just have to stay on track. Sometimes we have to check in with each other. How is it going? And, just remember that we can slow down a little bit and pick up the pace. But the key thing is not to stop.
And to take action.
Yeah, we have to take action.
Because many people say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. But, well, what have you done?
Yeah, to achieve that, to get there. Yeah,
right.
To create a little toolkit for yourself.
Of course.
I'm going to, like your coaching, you sat down, you said, this is what I want to do. And you worked out your days, you scheduled your days, your calls, and so on. And here you are. Yeah.
Getting there.
Yeah, you're getting there.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Coach Niki.
But I think that's part of the big thing about personal growth is setting your goals and writing them down, right?
Yes, you have to take action.
It could be a list, it could be a vision
board.
It could be.
Speaking of vision board, we did our vision board in January, and I had to do like a mid-year recheck, because changes happened, and as I said, life happened. So we moved, and this happened, and blah blah blah, and it sort of slowed me down. And I was getting to that point of like not even a pause, but almost like a full stop. I'm like, no. So I had to dig it up because I had packed it away.
Okay.
And I dug it up and I started to look, okay, yes, I need to do this. I said I was going to do that. And in the latter part of the year, I think I picked up speed again.
Well, I am so proud of you because you've been doing those crazy 3 kilometer how many?
4 miles, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And shout out to Leanne.
Yeah.
Leanne Sunshine. Oh, she's amazing. And she calls me up and she says, we're walking at 5 o'clock, and at 4:45, I'm outside. I'm like, oh. But I go and we walk for an hour and a little, and it's just amazing. And I feel great after.
I know.
But
it's just an accomplishment, right?
It is. I can take it off and I feel really good. In fact, I walk most weekends, right?
Okay.
And I really, really enjoy doing it. And at first, when she said it to me, I'm like, 5 o'clock in the morning? No, I cannot get up at 5. She says, okay, no problem. So the first time we got up, went walking, it was 6. And then I said, you know what? Let's try 5. And it really is fantastic. I love it. So
I think not to stress you out,
right?
But I think you need to have what they call a bad goal. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Big, hairy, audacious goal.
Let me
So,
hear what it is.
so maybe you need to have a goal of like maybe walking the Camino or
Mhm.
doing like a big walk.
Right. So I actually said to her, funny you say that I really want to step it up, not with walking.
With running?
No, with
Oh.
biking.
Oh, look at you.
So
And you're saying it on.
I'm saying it on. No, seriously. And I'm gonna tell her to listen to the podcast too, so she can know that I said it. But every single time we walk, right? It's a big joke. We see a bicycle. And she goes, see there, that's it, that's the sign. And one morning we saw 6 bicycles. 6. So we're like, okay, I get it.
So you can do it.
So I'm gonna start riding, hopefully, sooner than later. Start up at Hope Gardens, and then I don't know if I'll hit the road, but I will get on that bicycle and I will ride. I used to ride as a child, but it's different.
Right.
No, right? So I'm
Right,
gonna
and
do
there's
it.
lots of, I have a friend, some friends that are a couple from Canada, and they travel all over the world as a couple with a group of friends riding their bikes.
Right.
And it, yeah,
Who
so,
knows?
yeah, so that's a fun part of stuff, like, yeah.
And I enjoyed, and I felt good saying it because I've thought it many times. But when you say it, you kind of have to hold yourself accountable. So I'm gonna do it. So keep it posted.
Yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah,
So
anyhow,
the journey continues. I think we've done pretty okay.
yes.
But
Because physically and health and wellness, we're trying.
Mhm.
I have to tell you that I have fallen off
the treadmill.
the treadmill. Well, we had the big issue, and so
Right.
so I'm getting that fixed, but I've been walking outside.
Good.
So I've been
Good for
walking,
you.
and it really feels a lot better to get up. And
Yes.
let's see, let me not be grateful, but I wish I lived in a place where I could just go and walk far and didn't have to drive to.
Right. But it's okay.
But yeah, but
We'll
I'll
get it
work
done.
with what I have. It's not like
And don't forget, we have the dam. We need to get back to walking at the dam. So that was nice.
yeah,
We need to get back to that.
But anyhow, but you've been working on your sleep.
I have, and it's been good. I didn't realize I've probably sleep deprived for a long time. I didn't even realize it, but I just thought sleep was just overrated,
Mhm.
and then I realized it really isn't.
I don't have an
Sleep
issue
is-
with sleep, but
I did.
yeah, but
years.
tell us what you've been doing.
So I've been very conscious. So I will lock off by
Okay,
9:30, 10.
perfect.
No phone, no nothing. But I listen to stuff. I'm not looking at anything.
Right.
That blue light. I hardly watch TV.
Okay,
I hardly watch TV. So the TV's off. And I will listen to something, a podcast and some news item or something like that. And I never, ever, ever hear the end because I'm fast asleep
Okay.
in no time. I make sure my room is quiet. I will have a window open because I don't like total darkness. So a little light comes in, which is fine. And then I'm off to sleep, and I will sleep for the entire night. I wake up in the morning.
That's perfect.
So the first couple of days, I'm like, oh my gosh, should I sleep all night? Because I hadn't done that in years.
You just set the scene.
I set the scene. And my lavender. I use a lavender oil, which I love. I like the oil at night, and I use a lavender oil, which helps.
Good.
So you find whatever works for you.
Of course.
But that works really well for me.
And your blackout blinds.
And the room has to be dark, but not totally black.
Right.
So I leave it kind of half open. And I have my ginger tea, of course.
Okay.
And that's
So
another
you
part
have
of the
that, you have that
routine.
nice wind down
I
ritual.
have a wind down ritual, which really, really works. And I don't think I can deviate from that now because I've been doing it for some time.
I love that. And so now it's a habit.
It has
The
become a habit.
consistency.
Yeah. And that's gosh, to be consistent is difficult, but so important because now it's a habit.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I was just listening to a podcast, and they said that you could listen to, it was a podcast on manifestation. I love that stuff. And she said that one of the things is that there's some affirmation playlists that maybe you could listen to at night. And she says it's the best to listen to at night and in the morning, like as you're waking up and stuff. So check it
that's
out.
a good idea. I'll look at it. Good.
Yeah. Funny thing is that I had it on Spotify, on my Google or whatever yesterday. So Trevor comes in and is like, what are we listening to? But then it was almost about this manifestation about increasing your sexual performance. I'm going, oh, I don't know what.
And Niki went, switch.
I was like, hey, Google, turn that off now.
Can it be a topic?
It could be. No, I don't know. But anyhow.
Yeah,
that's
so we're working on ourselves.
Yeah.
And I like the transformation.
I love it too.
I like it. And I love the fact that, you know, we're at this time in our lives when we have the time to do it. We're finding our purpose. You know, we're creating our vision. We're doing what makes us happy.
Right. And you know, the purpose thing is an interesting thing. Because
Yes.
as you know, my first coaching program was to help people find their purpose.
Mhm.
Because I myself was looking for my purpose.
Yes, I struggled too.
Right. And in one of those coaching things, they said, you know, it's time for you to serve others. And I'm like, what the backside? Me at this age going to be serving people? It's like, you know. But honestly, I have now come to embrace that terminology, and it means like serving people, not physically serving or whatever, but you have a gift. And
Yes.
Michelle, you know what your gifts are. You
Mhm.
know what your
Mhm.
geniuses are. So you need to serve it out to other people and not deprive the world of the gifts that you have.
Not be selfish.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Right. And sometimes we feel so self-conscious, like, who am I to do this?
And that's a good point, because even with writing my books, which I
You said
think
it.
are important, I have to get them out. And I started a process. But
So
I
proud of
kept
you
saying,
again.
thank you. But I often said to myself, who's going to read this? Who wants to hear this story? But in fact, during the workshop I did the other day, one of the things I said, if even one person
Of course.
reads it and says, oh, this is what I'm experiencing. This is what I can do. This is what Michelle did. I would have helped somebody.
Of course.
And to be worth it. It
Yeah,
will be worth
sure.
it. So we can't hold on to those gifts and hold on to the blessings that we have to share it.
Of course.
And I think this podcast is
I
a
was just
great medium for that.
I was just gonna say the same
Because
thing.
we have gotten persons who have said to us, we have listened to you, we can identify with what you're talking about. And at first I was like, oh, anybody's going to listen to the podcast?
Exactly.
But
Who are
people
us?
do.
Who are we?
It doesn't matter. We don't have 10,000 listeners. It doesn't matter. We'd like to get 10,000 listeners. by the way.
Yes.
But we are reaching people.
And so if we reach even just one person,
Yes.
as you say, and
Yes.
that one person feels that they have a community in us,
Yes.
that they can contact
worth
us.
it.
Yeah.
And that keeps us going.
of course.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Yeah. Just serving one person at a time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I kind of mentioned this about, I don't even know if I want to say what my big, hairy, audacious goal is.
Let's hear it.
Well, I had mentioned it. I don't even know if we'll post it, but you know, my biggest fear is public speaking. So I had come across actually a public speaking coach. I'm like, who's actually Jamaican. And it's like, maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should invest in that and like just put myself out there, because sometimes I feel that's what kind of holds me back a little. But I don't know. I'm not even sure. Because
It's okay, because guess what?
if it doesn't happen, it will.
But here's the thing though. This whole self-growth, self-development is a process. And we have to build our confidence one step at a time. And you are doing that. You started with your coaching. You have your positive intelligence. You're reaching people. So your confidence is building, because you have to be talking to persons on your Zoom calls.
Right. And I do workshops too.
I do workshops.
But it's just, I think it's the thing about getting in front of like a big group of people, because somebody said to me, come and do a presentation to this association. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
I can't.
You can.
You know,
Because you're doing that on Zoom. I know that it's a
know.
comfort zone.
It's a
But
mental
I'm
too.
sure there was a time when you probably thought you couldn't do that either.
True.
And
It's
you're doing,
true.
and you're doing
it's a
that
growth.
now.
And you
I'll be in the back cheering you on. Okay.
I know
So when
you.
you're ready for that presentation to that room full of people, I'll be there with you. Not to
Okay,
worry.
okay, Mama. Thank you. I know. So, one of the things that we want to also grow and is important to us, is to develop meaningful relationships and intentional conversations with those around us, right?
Like-minded people. Yeah.
So having a a group of people that we're not commiserating with, but we're collaborating with,
Right,
right?
right.
So that's important to
Right.
find those communities.
And I think that creates a strength that helps us to get to that other level in the journey too.
Of course.
When you recognize that, you can collaborate, get ideas, get, ways to deal with things. It makes life, in my mind, a whole lot easier.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of
And you
course.
know what too? You recognize that a lot of people go through things that we talk about.
Of course. Yeah.
But we just don't talk about it,
Mhm.
So, I mean, like the other day, I was going through serious brain fog, you know this. And when we were recording, our last recording, and I'm like, Nikki, please, can we just stop for a minute? I need to start again. And then I was speaking to a friend of mine like 2 days later, and she was saying to me, I can't remember anything. I'm going through this brain fog. And I'm like, I just went through that 2 days ago. But I feel like I'm back on track now. But at first, I mean, I thought I'm losing my marbles,
No, Michelle, brain fog.
It's
Brain fog
real.
at our age is
It's
a
a
serious
real
thing. I
thing.
think I'm actually coming out of it,
Yes.
truthfully. But I think it is like sometimes I'm like, oh my God, it's just all you can do is visualize this darkness,
It's just
and
cobwebs.
right in your head. And I think that's one of my biggest fears about the public speaking, because it's like I just don't have the words. It's like I can't remember the words, But
Yeah, but you know what? We're on our journey, and we just have to stop and congratulate ourselves,
of course,
because I think we've done pretty okay, and we're doing pretty okay, and we will continue to grow, develop, and create that life that we want, that we deserve.
yes, it is our birthright, as
It
they will
is,
say.
yes, we deserve it,
So we talked about the intentional conversations, and we really wanted to have those with our peers and our peer groups and with our kids. And it's a funny story is that I think Trevor is starting to try and have those intentional conversations with his parents, because in our family group, they're coming up with all of these old movies and old memories and stuff.
I like that.
And we're trying to kind of record it and put it together. But none of our parents, none of that generation are still alive. So I've been urging Trevor, try and reach out to your parents and really get those conversations in. So the last time he spoke to them, he's like, okay, I'm going to speak to them about Christmas. I said, yeah, find out what they did as children, what traditions they had, And so afterwards he came back, he goes, yeah, that was really a good conversation. Thank you for that tip.
And there are probably things that he never knew.
Exactly. Or that he doesn't remember.
Right. I love that though.
And that they want to say. So
I love that.
You have your mom.
We do it with mom all the time. Some things she doesn't remember. And so she'll repeat some of the stories, but we do it with her all the time. And JP records her all the time. Zaka records her. So we have been doing that without even thinking.
Good. I love that.
Yeah, because she loves to talk. She always has a story to tell. So we do that pretty often with her.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's fun listening to the stories, because mommy has some stories sometimes.
And then part of our personal growth too is now, especially even though I don't have the kids at home and stuff, but starting to ramp up in different things, but you're just moving, is finding the time to do the things we want to do.
Yeah, and that comes with scheduling. And that's a major struggle for me. Because I allow myself to be pulled in every direction.
Because you're a pleaser.
And then, yes, and then at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, so what did I achieve today? So my to-do list keeps, forwarded the next day, because I don't get to complete what I had set out to do because I'm doing so many other things. So you're good at scheduling. You're good at compartmentalizing, and you're doing this now, lock everything else out. I haven't gotten there. I really do intend to get there.
You will.
I have to, because I can't. Let me tell you, another thing too, at this age, I just can't multitask anymore. So I just have to schedule.
It's so true.
And stick to it. I have to, or else I just won't get what I need to get done,
Right.
you know?
So a funny story was I thought I was so good at time scheduling and stuff. And then Max just the other day asked Trevor and I both to tell him how we manage our day and time block and whatever. So I wrote down a few little things. I thought, oh, these are so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then his father writes down this whole list about, being focused, compartmentalizing the day into 2 sections, because he's a man of, I must eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Mm-hmm.
How he does one activity during the morning, another activity in the afternoon, and he blocks it off in a way because, well, what he does, it's a skill. He
Right.
says, I can't spread my skill around, and I need to be focused on doing what. So he has this whole list of different things, and he's very timely. If anybody has ever gone to him as a patient,
I have.
he is on time. And when we did the group work, his staff was saying, they were like, oh, we have to be on time. We have to be on time. So I guess he's known for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess
And
I
that's
have
excellent.
I have a lesson
and
to
that's
learn.
important. And I've been trying to, I think JP has mastered that.
Good.
And he's at that age and living alone, he just has to. Zach, and I think IB also helps with that. Zach is just starting IB, so he has to learn how to create that time. And I don't know if I'm a great example to Zach for this, but while I am trying to do it, I'm encouraging him to do
Right.
it also.
Yeah.
And I let him know when I've messed up. So he understands that it's really just not as easy as it is, as I may say it is, because it's not. It does take, as Trevor does, a lot of discipline and compartmentalizing. So
Yeah. And then that comes to where we both are committed to growing in 2024 digitally and technology.
oh. Where's the iPad, Niki?
Exactly.
Where's the pencil, Niki?
Stop it. I found it.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna work on that though.
yes.
We're gonna work on that. So we're saying it here.
Right. So we both are committing to trying to learn with trying to get more familiar with, is that the word? A digital calendar.
Yes, and we're going to use it.
Right.
We have the tools.
We have the iPad.
We have it, yeah. We have
We
everything.
bought it diligently to
Mhm.
say, yes, we're going to be
So we made
doing
a start.
right.
Well, we're
But for
going to do it.
2024, we're going to do it. If anybody out there wants to give us a Zoom class on it, we're ready for sure. Yeah. But then we don't want to be, because you've had such good success with unplugging.
Yeah, man. I really that took a lot of work, because you know what? You just want to reach for that phone, It is so addictive.
I need to work on it.
And when I get up, another thing too, when I get up in the mornings, I don't get the phone right away.
That's good.
So what I've also done, I've put, so for the boys, for an alert from the boys, a particular sound.
Oh, that's
So I know
good.
it's them.
That's a
So
good
if I hear
thing.
anything else, I just don't check it.
Right.
But if I hear that ping, I know it's the boys, and I'll
Right,
check it.
right.
And the nurses know that they don't send me a WhatsApp if it's an emergency with mom, they call.
Right.
So that's different.
That's
So I
an
don't have to
important
be
thing.
checking.
Yeah.
So once I hear that, I know it's the boys. If I hear something that's not from the boys, I don't check
Right.
until after I'm sitting on my coffee. I have time now, because you can get caught in it for a whole.
Oh, yes, yes,
And when you look at those reels, you look at one, I get so caught.
That's why I don't go on TikTok, because that's like
I don't have TikTok.
yeah.
But I get caught up with the reels.
Yeah.
I tell
Okay,
you.
but that's a good tip. Thanks, Mitch,
Mhm.
because I always like, before I go to bed, and I go to bed fairly early, I
Right.
send my good nights to the boys. And so I kind of wait because they're 3 hours behind. I always keep my phone just in case of anything, and just to make sure that they're in home safe and
Mhm,
sound, so, but that's a
Yeah.
good tip. For
Yeah, it
sure.
works. It works.
Yeah. But that's kind of wraps us for personal growth.
Yeah, we're on a journey. We're on a journey, and we do hope that this episode will encourage others, just to get onto that journey. And it will have bumps and bruises. You'll get some bruises, but you just have to keep moving and know that, okay, and know that this is all a part of it,
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
And we really want our listeners to go on that journey with us.
Absolutely. And just remember, it's a process. It's a process that we have been on for quite some time. We're seeing our growth, and we're proud of ourselves, but it's not going to happen overnight. It
Right.
takes time it takes commitment, it takes a whole paradigm shift, but it can be done.
Yeah,
you
just
know?
take one step, one little
step,
action
one
step for
step,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But join us on this journey though. Let us hear from you. You know, we love to hear what
Right.
our listeners are doing.
Yes, and like maybe tell us.
Yeah, just
Tell us
drop
things
us a
that
line.
maybe we need to
Give us
grow
some
and
tips.
do.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, on to the next one.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of What the 50. Please show your love and encouragement by sharing, subscribing, and leaving a review wherever you're listening.
And don't forget to like and follow us on Instagram. And please join our active Facebook group at what.the50.